Good day, Tamers. Welcome back to some more fun stuff here with me, Gear Swiftly, and back to everyone's favourite internet band, some Ninja Sex by, NSP.
I want to leave.
So dance to your stop. Do you want to go home?
For those of you there who don't know what NSP is, it is a nature spirits typing, which is basically anything from some kind of weird rock turtle to a cool looking and very long-toothed Leomon. This deck itself is very interesting. I don't think it's quite ready for what it needs to be. It doesn't have any real option cards that work for it specifically. But it does cover blue, black, green and yellow at current. I don't think there's any red or purple nature spirits currently, at least not any that's sort of common typed in this archetype itself. NSP could do with a few more cards just to sort of make it a better deck. It could do with a searcher. I'm not sure if we are getting one anytime soon, but we do necessarily need to look at something that could be coming in the future that would make this deck a little bit more accessible. Fun it is, but meta it is definitely not. We do have Emon coming though in BT18, and that's about it for another level 6, but we could really do with a searcher in the midst of this. There is some draw power in this, but we'll go for the deck and we'll jump into it right now. So for those of you who want to play this deck, you kind of really do need to get your hands on the promo Wanyamon that came out in TP14. We are now getting into TP15, so I do apologise to you out there who go like, no, my local game store just changed over to TP15. Why wasn't I paying attention? Wanyamon, if you buy like the non-full version, is like £1 per one. So for those of you in America, for like £17, know you guys. And then the foil variants are like £2 each. I think I picked up my stuff a couple of weeks ago for like £10 for a playset of the foil winners ones. But for those of you out there who want to get into this, Wanyamon attacking was turn if the Digimon has the NSP trait draw, and that's kind of how this deck works. You're just drawing into it. You only currently have the 2 rookies for the deck. We could really do with a third one, but any good blue rookie would work in here. Maybe something like a Madoka Betamon as a way of slowing down your opponent's plays. For now, the interesting thing here is though they do Digivolve off of green, both the Gutsu and the Atomon. So if you really wanted to use a green rookie that was just generic, maybe you could look at maybe playing Pomamon to make it so your opponent couldn't play things by effects. Going now into the level 3s, we've got only 2 level 3s, as I did say earlier, for the NSP specific deck, and that is Gotsumon, which has a blocker and a reboot as an inherent effect. Playing these all at 4 of us, just so that way the deck has its NSP numbers. Again, this deck is definitely far from being amazing and has a lot of ways to struggle in the near future. Going over now to the Atomon, one of the coolest new cards we have from EX7, and that's all turns players cannot reduce play costs. Look at you, Digicross, especially with stuff coming out in the near future for Twilight, Cross Arts, and Blue Flare. Unfortunately, no Hunters just yet, but a card that will be very useful in the coming days and metas. Jumping now into level 4s, again, we did say about the level 3s, if you look at some Floodgate ones that could go on top of a blue, or if you want to change it to a green egg and have probably in the way there as well as having some Terriermons, you could definitely run just a Floodgate oriented deck. Tortmon here, blocker again, and then opponent's turn, your effects can't delete this Digimon. Very good, but unfortunately you can still bounce it to hand up to the bottom of the deck. But do you really want to get rid of a 4-cost Digimon in that sense? As reboot as it's inherited. Level 4 for blues this side now is Gekomon on play when Digivolving, draw 1 card. And then jamming as it's inherited. A very good card, very versatile. Probably one of those cards that you'll probably see for a long time in the near future. It's also an amphibian, which makes it quite useful in decks going forwards. There is some searches out there for amphibians, so it could be quite a good deck on its own. And there is also other Otomon Gekomons and ShogunGekomons out there already, which could come up down the line of having its own deck with its better sides. Monochronomon here is just a very cheap costed one, costs 1 to digivolve from any of the NSP level 3s, as well as having a piercing in its inherited, which again, just a really good trait. Jagamon here with on play digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, and then opponents turn all of your Digimon with the NSP traits, gain blocker, which if you come very wide, it's pretty cool. ShogunGekomon over here, on play, one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't suspend until the end of their turn, which, depending on what you're playing against, could make it impossible for them to actually play out their games correctly. Your turn, none of your NSP Digimon's attacks can change target, which means there's no blockers, no redirects, no goading. You're only ever swinging for games, which makes it actually quite a good Digimon. Triceramon over here now. On play, when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. That Digimon can't unsuspend until the end of the turn. Just a generically good green effect. But when Digivolving, if it's still your turn and you do have the monochrome in your inherited effects, piercing is coming straight for the heart. And then all turns will return when this Digimon deletes your opponent's Digimon in battle. Trash their top security. Becoming more of a common green traded level 5 thing here now, but also very good in dinosaurs for the most part. It's also coming now in insects. So with insects coming up things in EX8, you could see some good support coming for insects then as well. Going now to our Megas. Eldoradimon has blocker. On play, when Digivolving real top 4 cards of your deck, you may play up to 7 play costs total worth of NSP treated Digimon cards amongst them. By paying the costs, return the rest of the bottom of the deck. End of your turn was return 2 of your Digimon DNA Digivolve into the NSP treated Digimon cards in hand. If you can hard play this for 12, and you can Digivolve into your level 7, why not? If when Digivolving you can just play out a level 5 or a level 3 and a level 4 or 2 level 3s, this does make the deck go very wide very quickly. Obviously there's certain things out there that say don't do this, it's really bad. Certain metas, for instance. But it's really cool how the deck will still run. Sableomon Ace now. Hand counter blast Digivolution. On play, when Digivolving 2 of your opponent's suspended Digimon get minus 8,000 DP until the end of the turn. That's a pretty big number. When Digivolving, when attacking, was return, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then, if they have no unsuspended Digimon, this Digimon unsuspends. Very aggressive card, very good, very interesting. Sableomon over here, just a very good counter card to a lot of things. It's also just very interesting to make this deck have some way of removal without actually trying for the most part. We are running 3 of these. The Talokomon does DNA Digivolve from a green, a yellow into a black and a blue. In this case, you'll be using the Sableye, which is green or yellow, and going into the Eldradi, which is the black side. We do not have a blue or NSP yet, so hopefully we do get that in the near future. Maybe in BT20 when Digivolve. You may just play 1 play cost 7 or lower Digimon card with the NSP trait from your hand without paying the cost. If DNA Digivolving, you may instead pay up to 2 such Digimon cards with different colours from your hand without paying the cost. When Digivolving, when attacking, once per turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000 DP for the turn. I usually give everything 8,000 if you had Leomon on the field. 2 things at least, and then this can go up to 7. So something does have minus 15k at least for that turn, which will DP reduce pretty much anything on the field, or just basically get rid of another Tokomon if your opponent has something on the field. There is no protection with this Digimon, but it is a very big Digimon, and having access to the Ace underneath it may be a big issue in the long run. So hopefully we do see ourselves with the extra NSP green side maybe, as we do have access to the Etamon, which is a yellow and a black card, making it so you don't have to play the Sableomon if you're worried about the Ace being a hindrance more than anything else. As we are playing a green deck with some yellow in it, not too much, we are going to play 4 Heaven's Judgments, because who does not love just removing things from the field very easily. You are playing a 3-colour deck by default. You can play this as a 4-colour deck if you want to play the yellow side of this. I don't specifically like the Starmons or the Pixiemons. You might, that's down to you. This is just my variant. I prefer more of the aggressive side of the playstyle. But as you know, Heaven's Judgment for now. Activate the effects for each colour you have. Activate it again. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000. So it is incremental. So let's say you got 3 colours in the field. That's 18k, plus the 6k you already get there. That's 24k, and you can do that over 4 targets. Still probably the best removal in the game. I am very surprised this never got hit to 1 in the last list. But you never know in the future. But then again, we were getting this alternate art that we didn't know about at the time, which may have been the reason why they didn't want it limited now. Maybe for the next list we do see the going down to 1, maybe for Worlds, so go down to 1. Security, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12,000 DP for the turn. Again, super really good. A lot of people forget this, that for instance with Magna X, if you hit a security card first in security, the effect will trigger before you can do your immunities. So if you only have 12k, you'll be nuked off the board before you got a chance to say, oh no Charlie. And then we're also running 3 of this Shoto from EX7, because why not just join in with some more blocking fun. So this just gives anything on your side blocker and piercing till the end of your opponent's turn. Obviously you don't need piercing in this situation, but To look, having blocker as a 15 gear blocker is really good. You don't necessarily want to give it to your Saber Leo, but anything in here that doesn't have blocker already is really good. It is a bit unwarranted if you do have a Jaguarmon on the field, but at the same time you don't always get to have Jaguarmon just on its own on the field. So having access to Shoto essentially will make sure that at least some of your Digimon have an additional blocker for the turn. That's it. Ninja Dex Party here, probably one of the more interesting decks we've gotten. It's very cool to have all this archetypal family trees we got from the Pendulums. I know we've obviously had Draconic Roar in the past, Dragon's Roar. That was obviously around about the dragons. We had Animal Colosseum, which was based around more like the beasts, but it wasn't specifically traded like this was. And I do think that in the future, looking for, we're getting the Deep Savers and we're getting the Nightmare Soldiers. You know, I'm looking forward to both what those decks bring forward in EX8, as well as the Super Game for Liberators. And if they could be a little bit more polished, I'd really appreciate if they're a little bit more polished, just so that way you can actually have a deck that can function. And maybe if we can keep it like 1 or 2 colours, so that way you can try and slot in some option cards that like helps you search. It's really good. If we get like the searcher that just literally searches, like, you know, it's 3 colours, but if you have an NSP traded Digimon on the field, then you can just search for that kind of thing. And then you can just like search top 5 or search top 4, search for an NSP target, put the rest at the bottom, delay save, you know, just a memory boost. That'd be really good as well. But overall, I really do like this deck. I think it's a really fun deck, and it's nearly there. It just needs an in-house searcher that's level 3, and then maybe some option cards that make it work. But yeah, having access to something like Heaven's Judgment, where a green Digimon or Tamer on the field will require this, is just also really good. And again, if you don't want to play the draw power on your mon, you can always just go into a green baby and then play green rookies as well, just to make it so it works. Obviously the issue is then Digivolving may be a issue. But nonetheless, thank you for being here, Tamers. We'll catch you guys in the near future. Ciao for now, and keep on being awesome. Remember your defeats.